and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk about simplifying the process for getting a permit from the city. Some people think it's been a hassle. 311 does a lot of it via phone, but we're going to make it even easier for you. And my guest is Steve Shapiro from the Community Development Department. You've been working on this for a good year or more, right?
Yeah, probably 2 years, actually.
So the idea is essentially a self-service web area where people can, well, I guess you have to apply for permits and some things have to be reviewed. Some things don't. But basically, people can do it themselves over the web, pay over the web, and really communicate and keep up with each step in the process. Is that fair?
Yeah, we're calling this our Citizens Portal.
Okay.
So this will be a portal into our inspection permitting system that we actually went live with in March of last year.
So you guys have already been using it to enter information and track information.
Correct.
But now we get to see, we as users get to see where our information is in the process.
Correct, and you'll be able, in phase one, which is what we're soon going to go live with, you'll be able to apply for certain permits online. The two that you'll be able to get instantaneously, because they don't require any intervention on the city's part, is our yard sale permits, which are very popular, and the burial permit.
Which we hope are not very popular.
Right.
And most of us don't deal with that. So that's
correct.
really a funeral home cemetery sort of thing. It's going to be
Correct.
transparent to your users,
Yes.
your citizens, but not your users. So it will help them. But mostly, let's start with yard sales, because volume-wise, that's probably the one most average citizens do.
Right, and they'll still be able to get them at City Hall.
Okay,
on the third floor in our permit office, so we're not taking away that ability.
But you can trundle down to City Hall,
Right.
go to the third floor, pay your money, get your yard sale permit.
Right.
That's one option.
Right.
But now, at home in my PJs, I can log on to hampton.gov/online permits, and then what do I do?
Then you'll be able to select that you want to purchase a permit, and it'll give you a list of permits that are available. I think the very first one on the list is the yard sale permits.
Because we know that's going to be
So
popular.
you would click on that, and then it'll take you through the steps on how to purchase it. You would pay using your credit card, Visa or Discover or not American Express, MasterCard, and you would have your permit instantaneously and be able to have your yard sale.
Now, when I have a permit, do you email it to me and I print it out, or is it just in the system somewhere
you
that I
would
get
print
a
it out
permit?
from the system.
Okay.
So what we're not doing any longer, if you recall in the past, we gave out 2 cardboard signs. We changed the ordinance to say that those signs are no longer required, so you won't be getting the 2 signs from us, but you'll have your permit that you can display in case anyone questions whether you have one, and then you're free to hold your sale.
And you can make your own signs.
Yes.
Not that hard. Okay, so you've saved me from having to drive down to City Hall and wait in line. It's not usually a very long line, so that's probably not a big deal, and then get my information and go home. That's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, we hope so. So in addition to that one in the burial permit, as we said, that's not used by a lot of...
It's not a citizen kind of a thing. It's a business.
Right. We've got some other permits in our phase one that you'll be able to apply for, but you wouldn't get them instantaneously because there's some things we have to check. For example, we have to check to make sure that the taxes have been paid on the property. That they're current. Or if you're using a contractor, we have to make sure the contractor is properly licensed.
Okay.
But you would be able to apply for a permit for your shed, a permit for a fence, a replacement of your water heater or your furnace, a re-roof permit. So those type of things, fairly routine, minor permits you'll be able to apply for, and then we would do the checking we have to do. You still don't have to come to City Hall because you'd be able to upload your documents if any are required and be able to pay online and get your permit.
So a lot of people will have a contractor who will do this. And so the big thing is you've helped the contractor save time, which hopefully helps me as the person who hires the contractor save money as well. I mean, or theoretically, you know, that's the idea. But talk me through how this works. So suppose I'm replacing my windows and I'm a handier person than I am in real life. We're pretending this is someone better. And so I'm going to do it myself. Okay. So I go in, I fill that out, and then it lists on the system, and I can come back and check, yep, you're in the queue.
Right.
Then you guys have to do something, right?
Right. We would do the review that we would normally do. If it's not a contractor involved, the main thing we would be checking in that case would be that the property taxes have been paid.
Okay.
And then we would notify you that your permit's ready to be issued, and you would pay the fee.
And I can just do that online with my credit
card. You would
card.
add it to your cart like you do in many other things.
It was like a cart. I'm like, really? I'm putting this permit in my cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you would print out the permit, and you'd be good to go.
Like you're supposed to do.
Right.
And all that means I don't have to go downtown, which, for me isn't hard. I'm just on a different floor. But for most people, during work hours is an extra hassle.
Right. So now you'd be able to do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And I would imagine, okay, I did actually build a fence once. There are people who do a lot of this themselves, particularly in our area. We've got a lot of people who work at the shipyard or work in the military, who are much more handy than I am and who would do things themselves.
Yes.
So this will help save them some time.
Yeah. Now the other things we're doing in phase 1, you'll be able to request an inspection for your permit, regardless of whether you got the permit through the portal or through our normal means.
Okay, so instead of calling 311
right.
and saying, can you come do the electrical inspection, you can type it in.
Right, you would request it online, again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You'll be able to check the status of your inspection real time. Our inspectors use iPads, so they're in the field, they make the inspection, they type the information in right then, and it's instantaneously in the system.
See, that's cool. Like I had some work done, and my contractor would call and say, has the inspector been there? Is there a little card outside? And I would have to trundle outside and look and see, what y'all had left if I wasn't there when the inspector came by. So he's working another job, waiting to come back to my house until he finds out that step has been approved, and he can go on and do the next thing. So that mostly helps him manage his time, but it helps me too because he can get back and finish my job quicker once he knows what's happening. So now he won't have to call me, which is good, especially if I'm not home. He'll be able to just look and see, yes, we passed, yes, let's go on and schedule whatever the next phase of the job is.
Right, so right now, of course, we've been using that system since March of last year, of 2013. So if you call
internally,
or if you called 311, our call center, they'd be able to look on and tell you what the status was, but they're not there all the time. So now you've got the ability to do that from your home, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The other thing that you'll be able to do on the portal in our phase 1 is pay any fees, not just fees from permits that were issued on the portal, but if you came into City Hall and obtained a permit and was going through the process and now you're ready to pay, you'd be able to pay online for any fee, any of the fees that are currently due.
So that means that information that was entered before this portal opened is going to be in there, and I'll be able to go in. And that's the other thing too, I should tell people, you go in and you register once, and you have your email address and your password, and then anything else you do. So the next time you go to get a yard sale permit, you're that much farther ahead. You don't have to re-enter everything. It's going to remember you in your account. So particularly, I suppose, if you're a contractor, it's going to be really helpful because they're in there all the time.
Sure. So that's pretty much what we've got envisioned for phase 1. We're working with our computer developer to work on a phase 2, which would enlarge the number of permits you could apply for online, and would also allow you to track the status of your plan review. So this is sort of like the Domino's pizza where you call up and you find out when they put the sausage on and when they've added the pepperoni. You'd be able to find out, well, I submitted my plan, it's been reviewed by the plumbing plan reviewer, and now it's waiting for the electrical plan review, that type of thing. Or if it's a site plan, you'd be able to see that Public Works has reviewed it, but Parks has not yet. So you'll be able to track the status as it goes down the line through the process.
And this will be particularly important then for if you're building a whole house, or even if you're doing an addition, you still have to submit the plans and have them reviewed and see where those things are going, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to those two things being in our next phase. So, I mean, we're pretty excited about this, this ability to communicate with our customers online. You do it every day with companies, worldwide, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it with us.
So this is really, and I'm going to just back up a little bit, but you guys in community development have been reorganizing in order to better serve the customer. And particularly in this case, it's going to be your contractors or your builders, because they're your heavy users. But to make it easier and smoother for people to build in Hampton.
Sure.
And to make it easier and smoother for those of us who want to remodel or enlarge or renovate, to do that as well.
Yes, and I think a while back we were on a round robin. I was here with Sarah Probst, who's one of our project coordinators, and we talked about some of the things we're doing in the Development Services Center, like establishing project coordinators for projects where they're the single point of contact, so the developer, whoever the customer might be, doesn't have to try to figure out who they need to interact with.
Right, no, let me transfer you to somebody in electrical, let me transfer you to somebody in plumbing. You have one person sort of shepherding and being the ombudsman almost for the city side of that project.
Yes. So that's working very well with our customers. We're pleased with that. That started, a couple years ago now.
Okay, so let me just, what this means to the taxpayer. Suppose I am not doing any of these things, but if what it means is it's easier to do business in Hampton, it's easier, quicker, cheaper to build in Hampton, it can help stimulate growth and development, which helps the tax base. So in the long run, the big picture here is to make sure people know that Hampton is open for business, that we're business friendly, and that stimulating the tax base, making it easier for me to remodel, means my taxes go up, and I'm contributing more to my share of city services.
Yeah, right. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. The big picture is you may never use any of these services, but the fact that we are able to do it in Hampton, hopefully that's giving us a competitive advantage. People will build, people will develop, and the economy grows here, which is a benefit to all of our taxpayers.
All right, well, let's stop with that, because that, I think, you talk about the details, but getting that big picture out there is an important piece of it. So, okay, well, thank you, Steve, and we'll have you back when there's more out there to talk about.
Be happy to come back.
All right, thanks. And thank you. I hope at the very least, if you're doing a yard sale, you can do that permit from home and save yourself a trip down to City Hall. And in the bigger picture, looking at how Hampton is making it a little easier to build and develop and for you to renovate, adds to our tax base and helps grow our city. Thank you for watching.